Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ADD workshop. Today I'm going to be taking apart this Ridgid 6-gallon pancake air compressor. If anyone watched my previous video, I took apart their little 1-gallon battery powered compressor, and well, I kind of wanted to take this one apart and see how they built them differently, or if they did build them differently. I didn't know, so I figured I'd take it apart, see what this thing's made of, how they put it together, what kind of components they used, and you know, see what happens. Alright, so about to feather. Oh, sorry, I shook you up there. Sorry, I didn't mean to make anybody sick. Alright. First things first, we're going to start off here at the top. A lot more screws, it looks like, than the little one was. It's to be expected, it's much bigger. And of course I had to lose my Phillips screwdriver. I'd like to say this thing has been an excellent air compressor for me. I bought it used about a year ago, and haven't had a lick of trouble out of it. It has kept up with everything that I've wanted to run off of it, and that was all the way up to air impacts. So if you can run that, you can run pretty much anything. Alrighty. Yeah, that wobbling's still going, isn't it? Here, I'm going to try to adjust you a little bit. Let's keep this way just a hair. Alrighty. Hopefully that's a little bit better. And I won't be kicking my stand here the whole time. Alright, so we're just going to start pulling apart some screws here and see what's holding what. Looks like most of the screws here are on this side. So let's just start. Alright, let's see here. Looks like I've got most of them. Uh-oh. Man overboard. Okay. Alright, looks like I should be able to pull this side off here. Oh, missed a screw. If something doesn't come apart, always check for another screw. Alright, let's see where are our connections here. See if I can get these off. It looks like I could take off a little zip tie here, and looks like we'll keep ourselves in check. There we go. Now we can see what's going on here. Alright, so just got a little cast here of some plastics, some poly, and some PP number 5. Yeah, it's just some cheapo plastic here. It's not too bad. Forget what polypropylene PP. Poly probably stands for polypropylene, but I don't want to speak out of turn here. Alright, looks like our other half of our shroud will come on off. Let's see if we can't wiggle this thing around here. So you can see our brushes here. Got nice wires run to them. They're not little cheapo wires. Alright, let's see what we can see. Alright. Hey, and that's what I wanted to know. This has a belt drive. Now, I went over this in my previous video where it was their little 1 gallon battery powered air compressor, 18 volt, and I was completely shocked to find a belt driven pump. You can see where it pumps in here. Here's our little cylinder. Let's see if I can tilt that this way. Yeah, there's our little cylinder here, and you can see it just goes in and out. This also has no wrist pin here at the beginning, so we got the piston is going to be rocking back and forth. As you can see, when it goes this way, it'll be tilted in, and then on the outstroke it's tilted in this way. And they get this to work by putting a very big solid chunk of rubber in this piston here, and this is no exception here. I just want to see, there's not as much plastic. The end of the piston on the 1 gallon looked like the whole end of the piston was made of rubber all the way down to the shaft here. This looks like it's all metal with a O-ring on it, so that's a little bit different. It's a little bit beefier. Of course, we can see our motor here. See, how well can we see that? Pretty well. Okay. Alright. As you can see, we got our little comm bar down there. Oh my. Alright. I'm gonna pull you off of the stand here. Okay. So now we can get down and dirty with this and really see what we got going here. Alright, so you got your comm bar. Nice good stake-ons. You can see, or at least I hope you could see. Let's see here. Anyway, we got some epoxied resin in there. Can't see that too well. Okay, you can see our comm bars. Why do I keep calling them comm bars? Our brushes here, and they have got some serious meat on them. I mean, lots of meat left on them. All the way from right there below that little circle all the way down. And of course they have epoxied all of the nice brush assembly there. They've epoxied the windings so you don't have to worry about vibration. We're also not going to have to worry about nearly as much vibration with this one because the motor and pump assembly are completely separate, only connected by a belt, and this, you know, will take away a lot of the vibration as to not wear out your armature going through the motor. You don't have to worry about wearing out your bearings as much. You also don't have to worry about the heat from the motor affecting your piston, because these things do get hot. Now, I was surprised with the smaller Ridgid battery powered one that it didn't get hot. It could completely come up to pressure and was still very, very much you could handle it if you wanted to. But we got a double brush set up, pressure switch right here. This tells it to turn on and off. As soon as it comes up to a certain pressure, it'll click off the whole motor. And of course that's run over to our power switch, and then we have our regulator assembly here that's just piped directly in to here. Let's see, copper running through. It's insulated here. Oh no, it's a flexible line. That would be something to look for if you had one of these compressors that was leaking air. Right here and your pressure relief valve, sometimes these springs will start to get weak and they'll be pushed out way too early. Let's see here. Alright, well, there's not much to this air compressor. It's just about like the other one. I'm going to put this thing back together, and just like my other one, I'm just going to put a film of grease around the inside of that cylinder just to lubricate that piston head just a little bit. I know these are oilless compressors, and you know, they don't really need it, but yeah, I always feel like it can't hurt. So I'm gonna pause it for a second here and put this thing back together, and I will let y'all see how it sounds. Alright, we're gonna get this little guy put back together here, and I'll let y'all hear it run. Be gentle with my my shooting camera abilities here. I am no expert when it comes to this. I just like to shoot some videos for, you know, anybody who's interested in this stuff like I am. They can come watch it. So, you know, to each his own. Some people don't like this kind of stuff, and some people absolutely love it. I'm one of those people that I love taking things apart, seeing how they work, what makes them tick, and so hence the ADD workshop was born. My next project will probably be building a coffee table. One of those out of necessity type deals, because I no longer have a coffee table. Alright, I'm going to route these wires in where they should go. Alright, just doing a little bit of wire routing. Alright. Well, I have to say, this thing is very easy to take apart. If anyone ever has, you know, one of these that aren't working, it's not much to it. You have your screws that hold your enclosure on here, and then you have everything else. It's not too much to it, really. Alright, what's going on here? Screws don't want to go into the holes. And I say this almost every video. Anybody can do this. You just have to not be scared to mess things up, because more than likely you're not going to. Things were meant to come apart most of the time, and it was people probably a lot dumber than yourself putting them together. So, I mean, it's really nothing to worry too much about or think it's too much to it. You know, just take off one screw at a time, and you keep going until there's no more screws to take out, and then you find all the clips. There weren't any clips on this, and there may not be on what you take apart, but there's clips on a lot of things, and clips are something that actually isn't so fun to take apart, because once you take them apart, they don't like to go back together. And they don't, since it's a spring, once you've sprung it, it doesn't really like to hold anymore. Okay, I think that was it. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna turn this on for just a second so you can see how loud it is. It isn't a quiet air compressor. And at the same time, it's definitely not the loudest I've ever used. But it definitely gets the job done. It's normal CFM ratings, as with most compressors, you know, under 7 or so gallons. It's got a 2.6 CFM at 40 psi, I believe. And oh gee, I can't remember what it is at 90. Wait, no, it's 2.6 at 90, and doesn't give us at the 40 psi CFM. So that doesn't really matter who uses it at 40 psi. Alright, here we go. let's see if I didn't screw anything up. Here we go. And we're at 25 psi, that quick. So, you know, this is the Ridgid 6-gallon, 150 psi compressor. Okay. And let's see, yeah, they're not going to tell you your CFM at 40 psi on the thing here for some reason, but it's a dang good air compressor. I haven't regretted getting this thing at all, especially since it's one of the cheaper ones. There's nothing in it that to me makes it a cheaper compressor than any of the other ones that would be about this gallonage or CFM rating. So why spend more when you can spend less? This air compressor would do you very well. You know, you have your 2 ports here. It goes to 150 psi instead of 120 like a lot of them. You got bright orange, so you can't lose it. But anyway, guys, I just wanted to bring you in. I wanted to take this thing apart and see what made this guy tick. See if it was belt driven like our other air compressor that we looked at that surprised me so. And just want to say thank you for joining me here at the ADD workshop, and I will see y'all on the next one.